And that's for the piggies in every US city thinking a seat in the back row is Porsche because of European history. They miss seeing the monocle though, so I be in the front row on days I'm making dough. All alone, in the zone, on the phone, until the trailers go off the screen, along with all those production companies that never did a thing for me.
Palaha's Mimics is a surprisingly solid sleeper hit. Interesting how a film with a limited cast and sets that really just revolve around a nightclub, a grocery store, and a rented out space for a timeshare in Nevada can provide so much depth for Oakley's story, which stays steeped in originality, despite owing a large portion of its material to recognizing show business greats of yesteryear. That's when it tells the act of a struggling comedian portrayed by Palaha himself, who gets wrapped up in a demonic contract that grants him success and all earthly pleasures as long as he incorporates a dummy into his act, handpicked by the satanic agency that now represents him. Of course, Palaha chooses to renege on the contract, and that's when the film really starts to pick up speed and go all eyes wide shut, paying off a slow incline that is not carried by Palaha, but his love interest portrayed by Muraya, who's a selfless and stunning bookish grad student working her way through her degree at a grocery store, where Palaha's protagonist just so happens to be moonlighting at to pay the bills as he lives with his grandfather, portrayed by the legendary Stephen Tobolowsky, who has one of the most original deaths in a horror film that I've seen in a long time. That's Mimic's strongest feature as a low-budget thriller aside from the supporting cast. The originality is what keeps this film from truly losing itself in obscurity. The Conjuring universe and R.L. Stine have already been there and done that with dummies, and Joaquin Phoenix has already put his foot far in the hole of what it means to be a stand-up actor on the big screen. But here, Mimics is able to build on these giant shoulders, and audiences are able to walk away with another look at the dark side of show business when it already looked as if Monkey Paw had wrote the best chapter on this familiar book last year with him. Now, Palaha could have stayed behind the camera and a different lead could have been cast. That is maybe the biggest letdown in this picture, that Palaha benefits unfairly off of the talent around him. Ariane Zucker as the agent is a scene stealer along with her lead henchman portrayed by David Gamble Jr., both able to toe that fine line of sinister and sexy. But again, the biggest credit is owed to the mononymous Muraya, who is a joy mugging the camera, full of life even when half dead from the opening scene. That said, Mimics might just be the birth of the career for a soon-to-be 2020 Scream Queen. All that bedwenching has to be for something. Like Tobolowsky says early on in the film to Palaha, everything has a cost. And I think this big role in a small film could constitute as proper payment to catapult this Latina heartthrob into her next stage in stardom. Without Muraya, Mimics just wouldn't work. It takes a lot to let a film ride completely on a supporting actress, so hats off to whoever was competent enough to cast her in this. And after such an entertaining performance, one could only look forward to seeing more of Muraya down the pipeline, continuing with lead roles, except next time around with a far more capable foil that she could actually learn from instead of the other way around. A quick look at those ending credits revealed she was smart enough to get a production credit on this joint too. Sexy and savvy. Who's the dummy now?
Pop your popcorn. That's for the piggies in every US city thinking a seat in the back row is Porsche because of European history. They miss seeing the monocle though, so I be in the front row on days I'm making dough. All alone, in the zone, on the phone, until the trailers go off the screen, along with all those production companies that never did a thing for me.